Solskjaer versus Klopp, who won the tactical battle? Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0, a tactical analysis. For cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfever.com, a link will be left in the description, and use the code atlantisfootball for 5% off. Before I get into the video, just give me 40 seconds to tell you about the OneFootball app. I use this app to keep up to date with the latest football news, and I find it particularly useful during the transfer window, as they have a section on the app that has all the latest done deals in the transfer window, as well as the current circulating rumours. If you go to the match section, you can find statistics from pretty much any match from any league in the world, which is what I like to do for games I'm not able to watch in full, to give myself a general idea of how the game went, as well as the style of both teams in the match. If you're a fan of this channel, you'll definitely find this app useful, and you'll be helping to support the channel directly, so go and click the link in the description to get the OneFootball app. So going into the game, Klopp lined up his side in a 4-3-3 system with Alisson in goal, Henderson and Fabinho continuing as a centre-back pairing, with Alexander-Arnold at right-back, Robertson at left-back, Thiago playing the role of the deep single pivot in midfield with Wijnaldum and Shaqiri ahead of him, as Firmino played as a false 9 with Salah starting from the right and Mane starting from the left of the front three. Solskjaer started with what looked to be a 4-2-3-1 system with De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka at right back, Shaw at left back, Lindelof and Maguire playing as a centre back partnership, McTominay and Fred playing as a midfield double pivot, with Martial starting from the left of midfield, Pogba from the right and Fernandes playing just off of Rashford. So from the start of the game, we saw United taking up a 4-4-2 narrow defensive shape. In Liverpool's defensive third, we would see Fernandes and Rashford playing as a front two, cutting the passing lanes into the Liverpool midfield, but when a pass would go into one of the two centre-backs, they'd move to pressurise them. Liverpool's 4-3-3 shape in the build-up phase would start off as a 3-1-3-3 asymmetrical shape, with Trent Alexander-Arnold retaining a deeper position, as Henderson moved over to the left, creating a temporary back three. This is a tactic that we've seen from a lot of sides in possession, as it gives you a wider base to circulate the ball, making it easier to move the ball wide at the opposition's front two than it otherwise would be with just two players in that back line. Thiago was playing in that regista role in between the United front line and midfield line, with Salah keeping the advanced width on the right and Robertson pushing up the pitch on the left. When Liverpool progressed the ball into the middle third, we would then see Alexander-Arnold push forward down the flank and Salah move in field, creating Liverpool's familiar 2-1-4-3 possession shape. Whilst United would drop off into their 4-4-2 shape, they weren't doing a great job of stopping Thiago getting on the ball. The Spaniard would either drop in front of the front two, splitting the centre backs and being able to receive and turn on the ball before making a forward pass, or he would sit in behind Fernandes and Rashford, and when they would move to press, Liverpool could play wide of them and then back into Thiago, who could then turn on the ball, and Thiago was excellent in the first part of the first half, dictating the play and moving Liverpool's attacks into the final third with his passing. In the first 30 minutes, Liverpool were dominating possession, and that stemmed from United not being able to retain possession when they did win it back. United were using a 2-4-3-1 possession shape, but Liverpool's vertically compact 4-3-3 pressing shape meant that Wijnaldum and Shaqiri could push up the pitch onto McTominay and Fred, meaning that whenever a pass went into them, they would be instantly pressurised. In my analysis of United's games against Leeds, Villa and Burnley, I spoke about Solskjaer dropping one of the midfielders from the double pivot into a wider, deeper position to create a temporary back three in possession, as this would give United a wider base to circulate the ball around the opposition's front two, which was exactly what Liverpool were doing when in possession. However, United couldn't do this in this game, as Liverpool were pressing with a narrow front three, meaning that if Fred did drop into this same position, he wouldn't be able to open up a passing lane to get on the ball, as Salah was in this wide position, able to press that area instantly. United's game plan was to transition the attack quickly and look to exploit the lack of pace at the centre of Liverpool's back line, with Fabinho and Henderson playing there. They did this by playing vertically direct passes as soon as they won the ball back in their own half, with Liverpool's midfield pushed up the pitch. One pass from McTominay or Fred from deep into Fernandes or Pogba would have allowed United to start the attack, with them then looking to play an early pass in behind the Liverpool back line for Rashford to run onto, as United did here with Fred picking up the ball in the centre of the field, playing a 1-2 with Fernandes before looking to break past the Liverpool midfield and looking for Rashford's run in behind Henderson. However, United weren't able to create many big chances from this sort of situation in the first half due to either the through ball being slightly overhit, Rashford making a run too early and being caught offside, or Rashford being wasteful when controlling the ball after making the run. Liverpool were causing Manchester United's midfield 4 problems as Shaqiri and Firmino kept getting into the space wide of and in behind Fred. This was because United's 4 across midfield was not as narrow as it should have been. Pogba and Martial were getting stretched away from their central midfielders, trucking the runs of the Liverpool fullbacks down the flanks. When Liverpool were able to work the ball past the United front 2 into Thiago, United central midfielders now had a problem. If they pushed up, there was now space for Firmino to drop into. If Martial moved narrower to close up the passing lane into Shaqiri, who was often positioned wide of Fred, then Alexander-Arnold had more space out wide. What happened was Martial retained a slightly wider position, and Liverpool were able to work the ball through this area. This did lead to Liverpool getting into United's area on a few occasions in the first half, but Firmino was incredibly wasteful when he got into a shooting position, releasing tame shots that went straight at De Gea. United didn't really deal with Thiago throughout that first half. I thought Solskjaer should have had Rashford and Fernandes a lot more coordinated in terms of their positioning when they're pressing in order to cut off the passing lanes into Thiago, or just had Fernandes drop slightly deeper and mark Thiago to stop him having space in the first place. Liverpool did have the better of the first half, which can be seen as going into half time they had an XG of 0.49 to United's 0.06, but because of their front three's lack of clinical finishing, in particular Firmino, they weren't able to take the lead. United, despite having a few issues with their midfield, did defend well individually. I thought Fred throughout the game was excellent, pushing up and applying pressure to the Liverpool midfield when needed, and did an excellent job alongside McTominay of sitting behind the ball in the attack and acting as a defensive midfield security base in case Liverpool were able to win the ball and counter. Luke Shaw was also excellent defensively, with his positioning and reading of the game perfect throughout the game. Going into the second half, we did see United drop off about 15 yards, now allowing Liverpool centre-backs to have the ball in their defensive third in order to close off the space for Thiago. This did result in United getting pushed back into their own defensive third a lot more often, but did reduce the number of times Liverpool were able to get in behind Fred and McTominay, as with them sitting deeper, Liverpool were now having the ball in front of them, with Henderson playing as a deep line playmaker almost from the centre-back position, when Liverpool had the ball in the United half. However, United were now looking a lot more threatening going forward, continuing to transition the attack quickly. Here we see a quick switch of play from Pogba to Martial, which isolates Alexander-Arnold, and Martial's ball down the side to find Fernandes' run is perfect, and it's only Fabinho's well-timed block that stops Fernandes getting a shot on goal. Fabinho was exceptional throughout the game, later making a perfectly timed tackle on Rashford as he ran into the box, which showed the Brazilian's potential capabilities as a long-term option at centre-back for Klopp. The pattern of the game of Liverpool dominating possession and United sitting deep and looking to counter quickly continued throughout the second half. Mane and Salah play more as wide forwards, not wingers, so they don't track into deep areas with the opposition's fullbacks. This allowed United to create chances down the left flank in particular. Here Rashford is running at Alexander-Arnold, Shaw's overlapping and gets into a good crossing position to create probably the best chance of the game for Fernandes. But Alisson, who was fantastic throughout the second half, made yet another match-saving save. Playing with a 4-man midfield, United were also going to have to give Liverpool space out wide. Alexander-Arnold was sitting deeper, playing a quarterback-like role on the right, but Robertson on the left was causing problems for Pogba with his runs down the flank. See here, Pogba has taken up a narrow position, as he should, but Trent's fantastic long cross-field pass puts Robertson into a great crossing position with one switch of play. However, this was something that United were prepared to deal with in order to close up space centrally, and Maguire and Lindelof marshalled the backline pretty well and got their positioning right from these sorts of crossing positions. In the end, I think United probably had the better big chances throughout the game, and but for Alisson in goal and Fabinho at centre-back, they may have snatched a victory. This game was very tight, as seen with Liverpool recording an XG of 1.20 and United recording an XG of 1.19, pretty much identical. The game could have gone either way. I think Klopp won the tactical battle in the first half, and had Liverpool had someone more clinical than Firmino in the side, they probably would have been a goal up at least. Solskjaer won the tactical battle in the second half in my opinion, and once again on another day you could have seen United score in that second half. It really does show how valuable consistent world-class attackers are to a side over the course of a full season, as it seemed like in this game both sides' attacking players had a day off, whilst the defensive players excelled, particularly Fabinho, Luke Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, Alisson and Harry Maguire as well. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to subscribe to the channel, Check out some of my other videos linked in the description below, give the video a like and follow me on social media for more content as well.